Hello dear YouTubers, I hope you're all keeping well. Once again, Microsoft and Asobo have gone and patched Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and once again it's to do, or part of it is to do with sensitivity. Let's take a look at it. I'm on my unsupported profile system on my flight yoke unit. I'll link the video I did about unsupported yokes and joysticks, just in case you've not seen it. But let's get on with the important part of this video, sensitivity. As you can see now, what's happened to my pitch axis? There it is. As you can see, the lines are more natural, or more linear, might be the best way to describe it. I'll show you somewhere in this video a picture of what it used to be like, or a video of what it was when it was first patched. As you can see, the lines were not balanced. But now, coming back to this one, it seems to be perfectly linear. I guess the best way to describe it would be the minus and plus, so the minus and plus seem to be the same shape. So that's a good start. Now, I said I was on my unsupported profile. That's because these are my original settings of minus 70, which if I link a video for you now of my previous video that I did, I said that minus 70 wasn't any good anymore. Moving the yoke left and right was pretty awful, and up and down it just wouldn't control properly. Now, coming back to this, so I've got it on minus 70. Let's go back to the simulator. So let's resume. And as you can see, now in a Cessna you wouldn't wildly move the yoke, but even moving it more than I would, so left and right, it's not bad at all. It's far more controllable than the previous patch. I believe this patch dropped today on the 11th of November. Somebody correct me please if I'm wrong, but I believe it dropped today and it's patch 6, I believe. And yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is as good as it was before that sensitivity patch came in on my original settings. So if you had a setting of minus 70, minus 80, and it was misbehaving for you last week or the previous patch, go and update the new patch. It was about 1.3 gigabytes. It downloaded very quickly, even on my computer and my internet. For some reason, Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't like my internet where other games are okay, but even on my internet that 1.3 gigabyte downloaded fairly quickly, and I'm moving around now far more than I would normally do in a Cessna. But if you're sightseeing and you want to do some tight turns, even with that minus 70 sensitivity now, it's playable. Unfortunately, I got used to the minus 50, but I'm sure I can get used to this. I'll tell you what I do just to test this out. See, there's a little bit of quirkiness there. I'm not sure if that would happen in a real Cessna, but my yoke went full right on a slightest turn there. So it's still maybe slightly quirky. But apart from that, it feels far more controllable, and it's behaving far better than it was. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn around. I've not got the ATC on, I've not got the voices on, so what I'll do a turn, a quick turn for you, and line up with London City Airport, which is just beyond Canary Wharf, just ahead there. Those buildings ahead is Canary Wharf pretty much. And beyond that is the O2. I'll just trim down a little bit. Have I got my throttle set? I have. just show you a landing to show this -17. Let me just show you again, just in case you missed it. Or you don't believe me for some reason. So I've got it on my unsupported, where I had my sensitivity set at -70 and dead zone at 0, in fact, on my aileron axis. But on 2 on my pitch. I'll leave it there. I won't mess around with that at the moment, because it seems to work quite well. And let's just go in for a landing, just to show you that this indeed does seem to be behaving. I am of course using the Orbix Land and Scenery Landmarks add-on. I didn't uninstall this. I don't think I needed to. It wasn't in my community folder, so it didn't affect it when I updated. So I'll set flaps 1. Lower my speed a little bit, and I'll trim just to make sure I'm not dropping from the sky too much. So my speed's coming down. You can see the runway ahead of me. Wouldn't be the normal runway. You would land on runway 270, I believe, or 27. This is runway 90, I believe, and this is the runway you would normally... I'm not sure. Not sure. ATC likes to divert you to runway 27 for whatever reason. So it's not normal for Flight Simulator 2020 at least. They would normally put you on 27, but I'm landing runway 90. Come down on my throttle quite a way. I've got my flaps full. It's not a tutorial. Don't look for me for landing tutorials. I can get it down. Actually, the Cessna's very easy to fly. To be fair, very easy to land. So I've got my speed down, bring it down a little bit more. Come back on that runway. I'm drifting slightly off the path I would like to be. Trim up a little bit so I don't go into the water. Speed's okay, I can bleed off over the runway. I've got my trim pretty much set where I want it to be. That's not too bad so far. Come way down to the throttle now and just float over the runway. I'm just floating the speed off, killing the speed as it were. And it should come down fairly nicely. Right, there you go. As you can see, landing was no problem. I could float it okay, flare a little bit. So those controls, let's just stop the aircraft. Those controls, and put my flaps up. Let's do it properly. There we go. Stop. And go. Parking brake on. Right. The settings on the sensitivity there seem to be a lot better now. This line seems to be more linear or perfect on both sides, on both the minus and plus. So minus, I think that's minus and that's plus. They both seem to colorate to the same curve, which is good. And yet it actually feels better to fly on my old sensitivity settings. So good news. But what's next? I wonder what's next. Anyway, let me know how you get on with this. Give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon.